One American brand has set a precedent and spoken out against apartheid.
They need to let food into Gaza. They need to let food to starving kids.
Ben & Jerry's is the first major American brand to publicly take a stand against Israeli apartheid against Palestinians. But what if the brand stands against apartheid and the owner doesn't? It sounds complicated. Let me explain. It all started in 1978 at an old gas station in Vermont. Ben Cohen and Jerry Greenfield, two friends who grew up in Jewish families, opened a small ice cream shop, Ben & Jerry's. They didn't even know how to make ice cream at first, so they took a $5 course to actually learn how to do it. Their recipe: quality ice cream, unusual flavors, and something very important: social activism. The company grew in popularity each year and eventually started selling ice cream in 35 US states. In 2000, the Ben & Jerry's brand was sold to food giant Unilever. Although Greenfield and Cohen no longer managed the company, they were given advisory roles in shaping the brand's future. But it turned out that by selling to Unilever, they didn't just give up the brand, they also gave up control over its social values. At the time, they believed their mission for social justice would remain untouched, but things got complicated. 2022, the first lawsuit. It all began a year earlier, on July 19, 2021, when Ben & Jerry's, staying true to its values, decided to stop selling its products in Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories, knowing that many investors will pull out of Unilever stock. In 2022, without Ben & Jerry's approval, Unilever sold its share to Avi Zinger, the Israeli licensee, to bypass their decision and force the brand to keep selling in Israel. Claiming that this sale violated the terms of Unilever's 2000 acquisition agreement, Ben & Jerry's filed its first lawsuit against the company. The reaction? Predictably, the brand was accused of anti-Semitism and even terrorism. 2024, the second lawsuit. During Israel's genocidal war on Gaza, Ben & Jerry's accused Unilever in 2024 of blocking their public calls for a ceasefire, support for Palestinian refugees, solidarity with student protesters, and opposition to US military aid to Israel. Although he is a proud Jew, Ben Cohen doesn't want their name to be associated with what he calls the slaughter of civilians in Gaza.
The U.S. government has made me and every taxpayer an enabler of genocide.
Cohen and Greenfield have been arrested multiple times, especially for criticizing US policy that supports Israel while it continues to kill innocent civilians in Gaza, including children. What does BDS say about this brand? Although many organizations continue to call for a boycott of Ben & Jerry's because the brand still sells ice cream in the occupied territories, the BDS movement has not yet made an official statement on whether to boycott the company. Still, BDS emphasized the importance of recognizing and supporting the decision made by Ben & Jerry's board to oppose its parent company and called on other brands to follow their lead. Since Ben & Jerry's has become a major thorn in Unilever's side, the corporation announced plans to separate the brand from its portfolio by the end of 2025, which brings us to the big question. If a brand uses its voice to support Palestinian rights, but still belongs to a global giant trying to silence that voice, many are now asking, should we boycott it?